Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a historical rules event for you. Our first round is Cox's Push, followed up by the Reno's Fall. It's funny because I haven't seen both of these maps in a while, but I've both seen them this week before this match, so, you know, more to that. Before we get into this, thank you to our YouTube members for the support. If you'd like to support, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. So our regiments for today, on the CSA side, you have the 11th Mississippi, 20th Georgia, Lee's French Legion, 2nd United States Cavalry, 88th New York, Texas Guards, 6th Arkansas, 13th Georgia, Jenkins Brigade, and the Shenandoah Regulars. And then on the USA side, you got the Army of Northern Virginia, 6th New York, Hampton's Legion, 6th Alabama, 2 Corps, 51st New York, the Kentucky Outlaws, 1st Kentucky, 17th Michigan, and Hood's Division. I will note 13th Georgia, shown on the CSA side, balanced over to Union, so appreciate the help on that front. With that being said, our actual pot for today, it's currently 226. In balance right now is 8 towards the Union side. Union does not have artillery. CSA does, and they have 8 guys on it. So this in balance right now is 15 infantry in favor of Union, and they definitely need it on this map. So Cox's Push, it is a 10% ticket advantage to the attacking Union side, which isn't a whole lot compared to the rest of the maps in this game. Weapons on this map, the Union attack, they have the 23rd Ohio with the option of the Lorenz and the Springfield 42, so buck and ball, and they also have the 36th Ohio with the Enfield, whereas the CSA defense, they have the 5th North Carolina with the option of the Springfield 61 and the Enfield, and you also have the 23rd North Carolina with the option of the Springfield 55, the Enfield, and the Springfield 42. So CSA has buck and ball as well. Generally, strategy on this map for Union, it's either go far left side, or it's push up the center stone wall to hit the CSA in the corn, or charge far right to get over there as well. And it seems that Union has taken this option. CSA typically defend in that corner because that's just the most defensive spot on the map. It makes sense, but also if Union kind of gets control of it, they get control over the one defensive part of the map. So Union going, CSA artillery starting to get some shots in them. The reason why Union likes to go on this side is because you notice the cap point is here. It actually spreads across the whole length, or a good portion rather, length of this half stone wall. It goes from about here and all the way, it ends on the other side somewhere around here. So it's a very long point, and so what Union likes to do is they'll go over here, they'll cap the point, it'll force CSA to leave their entrenched defensive positions and engage in Union in a more open area, which, I mean, it's still not great for an attacker to engage there per se, but you know, it's better than Union bonsaiing into there. Not that that isn't a valid strategy. So Union starting off pretty aggressive per se. No bayonets and no sprinting until the 30-minute mark, which also will help out Union a fair amount in this attempt, because if CSA can't use bayonets and they can't sprint to try to force the Union out, it's going to be a little difficult for the CSA to hit Union out, because wherever CSA can go, right, if they try to go from this side, it's in the open field. They can go up center, it's still in the open field. If they want to come from this side, it's open field. They can't come from this side, it's out of bounds. So, with that all being said, I like this start from Union. It's not a bad idea. And we'll see how CSA reacts. Generally, as a attacker, or as a defender rather, you want to retake these points as quickly as possible. Because the thing is one, your goal as a defender is to get the black timer down to 0. And right now, as you notice, it's not moving down at all. And so, as a defender, you need to retake that point quickly to keep that clock moving. But also, as this counterattack kind of goes on, everyone's still losing tickets. So the defenders and the attackers are losing tickets while the clock ain't moving. And so, as a defender, you'd much rather be at the 39-minute mark at full engaged versus, let's say this counterattack goes for 10 minutes and each side lose half a stage. You'd rather be at a full battle ready at 38 minutes and 41 seconds and halfway through battle ready. So those are the reasons as a defender you generally want to move quick on a counterattack. You can also, if you be aggressive, push the attackers, which is the Union, who are now considered the defenders, into last stand, but we don't ever really see that. We especially don't see that in an EU event. So And this all being said, 2nd U.S. Cav pushing up on that stone wall makes sense to get nice shots out. Union, though, they've got HD and 6 Alabama formed up over here. 6 Alabama is a part of the A and V, but we're separate on the court sheet. And we have the space in the intro, so that is why they're separate there. And, I mean, even with this start from Union, tickets are slightly in CSA's favor. I think that just makes sense with the Union having to cross the open field. But Union doing a smart thing here a little bit. I mean, they're not all on the point. These guys are not on the point. Those guys over there, they're not on the point, but they're pretty close to it. But Union's spreading out. They're trying to use as much cover as possible, which you can appreciate, especially with that CSA already. Very dominating on this map. They only have 2 guns, though. So, they can't do a whole lot, but when they hit, they hit. So I like that Union's kind of spreading out a little bit, especially considering that CSA probably won't react as fast to charge in on the point. Now, if CSA was a very reactionary defense, it might not be so good of a thing for Union to spread out as much, just because it might make it a lot easier for CSA to just push up onto the point. But, you know, every scenario and every battle calls for different things, and that's the neat part about this game is there's general metas, and you see those metas kind of happen as the match goes on for any given match, but there's always a little bit of variance in everything. So it's also nice because EU and NA event strategies are completely different.
Alex, get your ass up, son.
Are we loose or let? I don't know. Oh, fuck.
So you would think in a longer shootout scenario, I forgot to mention frontline reporters today. Should give them a little shout out, right? They're helping us with their view. So Union side, you got Killer from the Army, Northern Virginia, and then on the other end you got Flores from the 11th Mississippi. Apologies for that. Not doing that at the off the rip, but appreciate those guys for showing us what's going on the ground while we also see what's going on in the sky. But generally, a shootout in the long term should favor the attackers because generally these shootouts, there's so many variables going into it that I generally think shootouts are a 1-to-1 trade in kills, which means they're roughly a 1-to-1 trade in tickets. And since the attackers have a larger ticket pool, they have 10% more tickets, over the long run you would expect the attackers to get a little bit of a ticket lead. Now, we're not necessarily seeing that yet. Sometimes, I mean, we've only seen a shootout for like 4 or so minutes so far, 4 or 5 minutes, which isn't a terribly long time. But a lot more shooting here might make the tickets a little more even. Union's kind of backed off as the center, seeing as CSA kind of spreading out to shoot the Union. But the question's going to be, when are they going to retake the point? Now, I'm pretty sure that it's, I mean, they might have done a ping in the chat. They'll probably do it when it's closer. It's either a certain time on the gold timer when bayonets and sprinting can start, or it's if a side goes into taking losses. I don't remember which rule it is, but...
Oh non, pardon, Cyril. Non mais en fait, je voyais le mec, je lui ai tiré dessus et toi t'as levé ton bras pour recharger d'un coup et du coup ça t'a touché.
So, I mean, CSA doesn't have to wait for that to go in, but they obviously could go in if they want. I mean, if they, the thing is though, is that if they try to retake the point and not charge, which I assume not charging would be part of the plan, at least while we don't have sprinting and bayonets, but they'd all have to crunch down here. And sure, you don't have to worry about any Union artillery on this map. However, Union's going to be shooting down at you from a lot of different directions, and generally in this game, when you're in a shootout, you want to be much more spread out than your opponent. If you're all scrunched up in a tiny little area, and the enemy is spread out shooting into you, right? If you're just a big ball, and you're in the front, right, someone might miss you, but there's a dude behind you who could probably be hit.
Keep it shooting, guys.
Who's Mr. W?
Remember to have these 200-yard sides at their waist.
So, we'll see what happens from here. That ticket gap, it's almost about a fourth of a stage in CSA, so this shootout might not be producing the results that Union wants, per se. Because if you can't win by charging on this map, it's not a bad idea to early cap like they have. Like, it's not bad, but then you also got to win the shootout. So it looks like they just did a ping. It said sprinting will be allowed 10 minutes on the gold timer. I assume that means bayonets will also be equipable as well. We'll see. But again, I wonder what CSA is going to do, because even though CSA has the lead, right?
Recap at 10.
Recap at 10. You heard them down there, folks, and that's how they communicate in this game. They can't, you know, talk in a team chat. They got to send runners to each other, or the officers have to talk to each other to spread the plan. And it makes more sense why CSA is a little more condensed here. But that ticket gap is actually going decently in the CSA's favor right now, which not a good sign for the Union side on this map. But of course, CSA does have to retake the point, and they'll have to force themselves in the open. Question being at that point is, how's the Union going to respond to all that? Are they going to try to hold the point, or are they going to try to shoot down at the CSA who are capping? I mean, who knows? If I were Union, I would try to contest this point as much as possible. Like, maybe not have your whole team crunched up over here, but, you know, have some guys over here, just so that CSA has to send more guys out into the open field so the rest of your team, who is pretty spread out, can shoot at them from a bunch of different directions. Yeah, this ticket gap is blowing up right now in favor of CSA. And I mean, a counterattack for a defender, per se, is not the worst thing in the world if the defenders can find a way, the original defenders, if they can find a way to get a ticket lead. Because right now, right, it's not the worst thing in the world for CSA for a counterattack to be happening, because they're winning on tickets, which, sure, you're as a defender, you're playing for time, and you want that black timer to move down, but also if they hit the attackers down the final push first, they will knock that black timer down only to a few minutes left. So, I mean, if CSA is getting a ticket lead, it's not the worst thing in the world, but obviously it's not the first priority in my mind in most instances. So, especially on maps that are more biased to the attacking side. As a defender, you don't want to wait too long on a counterattack. So, with this all being said, you got HL and ANV pushing down the hill a little bit. They're getting some nice flanking shots here on the CSA who have positioned themselves on the stone wall. Surprised Union didn't do this a little sooner. 1 minute left until this kind of counterattack from the CSA to retake point. And they should be able to easily take it. Most of the Union has backed off of that area. CSA could send a group forward if they want.
Independent fire, guys. Shoot them up.
Looks like bayonets are now allowed as the server announcement pings that. Not 10 minutes left on the clock, so I guess I don't know exactly how they do it. Maybe they wait till engaged. But regardless, telling you as I see it, or as or at least they say it in the server announcement. And CSA sending a small group out to retake. Union responding immediately, sending a group onto point, which I think Union needs to try to hold this. You got the other half of A&V pushing up. The thing is, right, is that CSA's been able to win a shootout, crunch down in their really strong defensive position. So if you're the Union, you got to get them out of that position. You either cap point and try to hold it, or you just go in to try to charge them out, which Union's not heavily contesting the point. They have more guys starting to move down. You got TKO, 13th Georgia. You got 6th New York pushing this way. And they're starting to retake it back. And you can see CSA has to respond. They have to bring guys out. Nice. Holy. I wish it killed all those guys there. But, man, that was a great arty shot. But you could see the result, right? Good arty shot, but Union push guys in to cap the point. Now CSA has to inch out. Union responding perfectly, pushing down to this stone wall, and they're going to get great flanking shots into the CSA. Potentially, CSA completely left the corn, so if Union wanted to try and go take that corn, they could, or they could try to keep a pincer on the CSA here. We'll see.
Yep, just keep staying there and loading, brother.
So CSA will retake. You can see CSA, they dropped in tickets, almost about to hit engage as well. Union, for the most part, is still holding on point. And it looks like Union's going to play this game. And this, I mean, the tickets are overall fairly even. CSA is slightly ahead, but, you know, as long as as an attacker, as long as you keep the tickets relatively close, even if you're down a little bit, it's not the worst thing in the world. And some could argue it's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I would argue that as well. If anything, right, the attacker should start to get worried when it's about a third of a morale stage difference. At that point, it's kind of like, okay, it gets iffy. Because towards the end of a match, if both sides are going to hit their final stage, the defenders typically want a third of a morale stage to a half morale stage lead to be productive. But interestingly here, ANV and TKO, they push up while the rest of their team kind of backs off here. I don't know if they're trying to force a whole Union team charge to take this corner. I mean, CSA doesn't have any flags down. I'm shocked they're not just sitting on the other side and trying to cap it, because if Union doesn't send everybody in, which they're not, this charge might be in vain. And it's very trickled in. You got a lot more Union shifting down. Midwest Brigade, 6 New York. HL, a lot more Union pouring in. Artillery wants the fun. Ricochets off the stone wall. Doesn't kill anyone. And I mean, this corner's starting to turn in Union's favor. I don't know how Barron's sold that. There he goes. One CSA flag down. Union bringing their flags down as well. This could be oh, wow. I haven't seen Union take this corner in a long time. I didn't see it when I watched it earlier this weekend as well. CSA won this map, and it wasn't even close. So Union sits up reform. They're not trying to fully charge. LFL, 2nd U.S. Cav. I see some 20th Georgia tags here for CSA. They got 2 flags. Union. Hello, Shift Tab. I have not seen you in a long time.
Hey, brother, you're red.
But Union's not necessarily charging out. CSA rushing in. TG trying to get some of those flags out, and they will. But no, great charge here from Union. I'm glad everyone got participated in it, because that's the only way as Union you're going to have. Holy artillery. Union's got to think about moving and trying to throw CSA off, because CSA's got all their flags now. They need you just saw what artillery was able to do, but there's still a fair amount of CSA over here. They need to push in and try to throw them off. You don't want CSA to get completely formed up, because CSA is most likely going to try to charge you out, but maybe that's what Union wants, is a full-blown engagement. But they're starting to shift guys down.
You don't want to get into us, mate. You'll just lose, pal. You'll just lose.
So, I mean, only a couple shifting forward. 2nd U.S. Cav dive bombing the Union lines. They get a Union flag down for a moment. But Union's not throwing CSA out. CSA bringing those 2 down flags earlier. Now CSA is going to try to throw Union out completely. CSA already shot in a hot second.
Kill them all.
There it is. Didn't do as much, overshot by a little bit, but it got a guy. Union holding despite... I mean, that's another thing too, right, is these flag respawns. Every flag spawning someone in every 5 seconds, and so you got to wipe people quickly in a charge, or else you're not going to be able to take that ground. There's another already shot. But Union holds that charge. Regardless of how the situation goes, there is a lot of time left on the clock, and both sides are almost on the taking losses. Really impressive round here from the Union so far.
Up, out.
Got a Rambo. Kill that guy in the field. Come on. Thank you for your tickets.
I don't know why the CSA is trickling guys in. Like, they need to all go in. Like, you got Ole Mississippi, LFL doing a little quick time pyramid. Like, they're moving up, but you see their CSA over there who are just sitting and shooting. It's like all the CSA's got to go in, otherwise these tiny charges might not work. Right, there's a Union flag up there, but and Union first to drop the taken loss of CSA. About to follow though. CSA takes the corner back, and it looks like they're going to be able to finally force Union off here with a good enough push. So I guess it works for them in the end. Maybe Union just was getting a little worried, wanted to back the flags out and preserve them, but that was huge success from the Union side there. A good start from A&V and TKO charging in on the corner. Rest of the team saw that and said, let's join them. Good thing the rest of the team kind of saw that and went in. Maybe they pre-planned it in court and that was a great plan, or maybe they just did it on the fly. Regardless, the result is very good. Now, you do have some Union over here getting charged out. That's why the point was periodically going up. Some Serpents Brigades skirmishers, 2nd U.S. Cav, and some 11 Mississippi guys are charging them out. But, yeah, no, Union's got 32.5 minutes, and they can do whatever they want. They just have to get the... I mean, they can cap and win once CSA hits breaking, or they can try to hit them down the last stand. I mean, really, because of how aggressive the Union's been, and also the fact that they kept tickets pretty even for a map where you normally don't see that. Union has a lot of options open at this point. They just got to keep it up. So, we'll see what happens here. HL going up and over. I don't know if they're trying to do a... lucky timing there, I guess, or good timing. Not so good timing up there. But HL pushing up. Again, a Union cap is still not bad at this point. Looks like they're shooting. But Union cap, not bad at this point. Sure, they have plenty of time on the clock, but if they want to cap and try to force CSA out again into a similar situation, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. So, Union still got to play their aim game going forward. Again, not an easy map for Union side, but they've done well to make it so that it's been pretty even overall and that this game is getting close. And CSA responding, going in. HL going to the wall, and Little Mississippi should get nice shots here.
Keep that flag down, 11. Keep that flag.
Get about 3 or 4 there. Union still camping, though. A couple of H guys still up there. Union starting to drop through, taking losses a little bit. And I mean, even Union down by a little bit here is, again, not the worst thing in the world by any means. Union should keep doing what they're doing here. As long as Union keeps the flags alive, they should be fine.
We're gonna steal this spot real quick.
So, CSA kind of... It's an interesting defense, right? You got 11 Mississippi out, you got LFL there, you got some CSA behind 88th, they're not moving out that way. It's just kind of funny, they're all scrunched up in a tiny little area there. When is CSA going to start dropping though and taking losses? Because maybe this close ticket game that I was mentioning a moment ago isn't true. Maybe CSA is still up by, you know, a fourth to a third of a morale stage.
Shots first. Get your shots in. There you go. Good bang, William.
Dude, I've died every time.
Wow, it's almost a half morale stage. What? Union, this might be a good chance for Union to get some tickets here. Charging out 2nd U.S. Cav, who I think is overstaying their welcome here.
Charge him out.
It's a good charge.
Already trying to get in there a little bit.
Knife through butter right there.
Exactly.
So Union's going to group up. I wouldn't be surprised if Union maybe tries to do a similar thing we saw at the beginning of the match. You could see some CSA maybe trying to prevent that. They are pushing up 11 Mississippi into the open a little bit. But they're going to get shot off that pretty quickly. They kind of did their job as well. CSA starting to drop through taking losses.
Firing up that left oblique on the wall. Keep firing on the wall. Keep firing on the wall.
Range at 300 yards.
They're coming down the wall, and they're coming.
And you can see Union starting to move down already.
All right, Arkansas, focus on the right-hand side. Our friendlies will take care of the wall.
And you got Union also pushing down center. Stonewall as well. 6 Alabama pushing this way.
Form up, fire drill to the cone. Form up, fire drill to the cone.
It looks like Union's trying to go in for another cap. So again, Union's got to work a little bit of magic here to get something. CSA, I mean, honestly, right, the shootout worked really well for them in the counterattack stage. So it is not the worst thing in the world if Union does cap the point. Time is not really much of a factor anymore in terms of that black timer. Because if anything, Union's going to hit final push and that black timer's going to drop. So if I were CSA, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The shootout was working for you. Now, Union, if they do cap, they're considered defenders. CSA, if possible, could try to push them into last stand. They probably won't, but it's always a possibility. So, 7-minute counterattack. CSA isn't taking losses. That's why it's 7 minutes. If CSA wasn't engaged, it'd be 12. And like we saw earlier, it would be 20 if it was battle ready for the defenders. So 7-minute counterattack. I mean, it might be in Union's best interest to try to outright hold this point and just try to win it now. Because, I mean, it's about a third to a half, actually it's like a half morale stage difference right now. And, you know, that's kind of at that point where if you're an attacker, like, well, if it gets to final push last stand, I don't know if you're going to be able to do it, especially considering this map when Union would have to charge across an open field to get to the point. So I think Union should try to keep this point for the rest of the time. Sure, it's a risk, but I think it's the best shot Union has of pulling this off. Because the thing is, if Union gets eventually thrown off the point here, CSA will, in breaking, will kind of sit up close, maybe just sit in the corner and wait, but they're going to aggressively hold with a ticket lead like this, and it's going to be really hard for Union to catch back up on tickets.
Right front, up the bush, up the bush.
On the field, boys. West.
Show your loads in that bush.
Direct front to your south-southwest.
Keep shooting.
Make sure we double rank it, guys. Double rank. Spawn in and
Keep your double ranks, Georgia. Keep your double ranks.
I got hit by bucking ball.
Keep it shooting, guys.
We'll
Keep
get
it
the
shooting.
surgeon afterwards.
Fucking ball maxing over here. Let's get these bastards.
So Union's going to hit breaking, but CSA, 2 minutes into the counterattack, they haven't really made a move for the point. Union aggressively trying to hold Stonewall, or at least they're not backing off.
Keep it up, dudes. Keep it up.
Forward, boys. Make your shots easier.
This tree is single-handedly protecting the 11th Mississippi from total death. You could argue that for the Union side as well here. They're all really clumped up here. So, the thing is, too, is that the longer CSA kind of sits back and doesn't try to retake this point, it's going to give them less time and less chances to retake. They need to move in on this fast. I assume they're going to do it at the 3.5, 4 minute mark. They have to. Because you don't want to wait till 2 minutes on that timer, charge in and it fail, and then you're like, oh crap, we don't have a lot of time left. So I'd rather move in now if I were the defender. Sure, you're getting a ticket lead and it's growing a little bit in your favor, but can't do it for too long. A half morale stage lead is not going to do you any good if you lose the game in the end. So it's not like it transfers over to the next round, which if they had like an operations mode, that would be so cool in this game mode, like Battlefield 1. You fight over one field, depending on the result, you either move forward or go back, or maybe the attackers in Battlefield 1, they have like 3 waves and they just try to win like 3 or 4 different maps in a row.
Keep going, second.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. 30 seconds, so 3-minute mark. CSA is going to spend about a minute or so, minute and a half with this charge. So CSA at this point has probably got about 2 organized charges left. Union needs to, I think, outright try to hold this or else they're not going to win the game. Obviously, it could still happen, but probability favors CSA winning this game. Union has a lot of guys grouped up, but the moment CSA moves out, Union needs to aggressively hold. Now, having guys up here is not the worst thing in the world, per se. You know, if they're keeping CSA harassed on the stone wall, getting flanking shots. However, I guess we'll see how it unfolds and critique it from there. CSA starting to push out. They're taking the point back pretty quickly. Who's surprised? No one. 11 Mississippi pushing out first here. Trying to crouch down to get in the cover. Again, they can afford a little bit of ticket loss, so it maybe isn't the worst thing in the world. They also don't have to worry about artillery. Union needs to hold this. I mean, if they hold for 2.5 minutes, they can win, and they have the tickets to use that. So 6 Alabama pushes up, gets shred a little. Union starting to take this point back as they got more guys. A lot scrunched in here. 6 New York, Midwest Brigade, HL on the left side of this half-stone wall. Union still holding. You can see Union putting a little pressure on this side, flanking in. And I mean, as long as they keep CSA distracted and off the point, which those guys on the stone wall, at least some of them are going up and over to move in now.
Make sure you're on point, gents. As long as we're on point, we can do this right now. We can do this right now.
2 minutes left. Point starting to change with that movement. All of CSA collapse. It might not be a bad idea for these guys to push where CSA is at to get some shots that way. They got to put a little pressure on them. I mean, Union just has to hold for 1:45 and they win this game. Don't have to worry about anything else with this map. I would send it. Points starting to slowly go back, though, in CSA's favor. Union not moving a whole lot. Here comes our first movement from the Union side. You got a couple CSA guys over there. 6 Alabama, another one of these aggressive groups. They're going in, which we'll see how it goes. Not a whole lot, but I don't think CSA, part of them didn't see it coming anyways. It's going to pull CSA's attention away. Meanwhile, you got more Union shifting off. 1 minute left. Union's hold fire. These guys aren't doing much. They need to push down and help their team. Which A&V's leading this. Are they going to go in? I mean, CSA's out this far. They might as well go. If they get a chance to charge them, also they need to charge them all because it looks like CSA's taking this unless Union changes course here.
Shoot him down. Shoot him down. Bayonets down. Shoot him. Bayonets and shoot. Give them steel.
Union keeping their flags back on point. And it looks like CSA is holding this charge pretty well. They take the point back. Black Timer continues. Union down. About 2/3 of morale stage, and at this point, Union needs to protect the flags here. As I assume CSA is about to countercharge this. Not a whole lot. Actually, there's not a lot of CSA left. So CSA will, though, eventually push through. Nice little hold and push back from them. I mean, you don't blame Union for charging in there. They were having a hard time holding the point, sitting back and shooting. So they're like, well, if they're going to be out this far, not in their entrenched places, we'll charge in on them. That's not a bad idea. It's just CSA held it well. And look at that. My goodness. But Union's down 3 flags right now. I don't know where their 4th is. I assume it's up there. Yep. And yeah, looks like all Union did end up going down in the end. So I don't know who was up there, but at least I assume they went in the end. But yeah, no. Good first round. I think Union had some good ideas here. It's a very difficult map. They have to play perfect, and CSA can't make mistakes, or they have to make mistakes. And CSA, they didn't really make mistakes, per se. I mean, yeah. I mean, CSA really didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I mean, the charging over here might not have been all together, but I mean, in an event where they don't have officers don't have a Steam chat to talk about what's going on, and it was just the height of battle, fog of war, you know. sometimes not. You can't get everything perfect, and that's just kind of how it is. Same thing with our lovely artillery up here. So, with that all being said, good first round though. Union had a great start. It's just, yeah. Deb said they would do a ticket balance update in the next update, which I assume means they're going to release the company tool as well. And with the company tool is supposed to be data for who wins for every map ever played in War of Rights, which I don't know if you necessarily need that for knowing if maps should be balanced or not. It will certainly be helpful. If they use it a lot going forward and do like monthly ticket balance updates, I think it would be a really good thing, and I'd be very happy. However, we'll see. You never know. So, Union grouping up.
We either go for the wall and then we go down, or we go hard left and just try and cap on the left side.
Without our flags, though, we're going to get shot to pieces on the left, I reckon. At least if we go straight right, it's just getting stuck in. We either win the charge or we don't.
Friendlies are engaged. We're going to have to make a move now anyway, I think. Alright, what's more likely? Probably right side so we get flags. I think we're going to have to try it.
Yep, I do agree with that. CSA spreading out here, which is a little surprising. I think some of them are trying to push up to shoot Union down to final push. Because regardless, this next charge, Union's going to hit final push. But if you can hit Union down before they start their charge, you know, that's an extra 10-15 seconds, you know, before they can do anything. However, CSA being spread out now, Union might have a chance to defeat in details. They swarm in. But as Parker and Killer were talking about, they don't have their flags, or at least they don't have 3 of them. Like what Eddie's saying there, take your shot and get out. Don't want to get defeated in detail here, so good move from them. Second U.S. Cav. Back off into cover there. I mean, Union could turtle back in their spawn and wait for those flags to despawn and then maybe go left if they want. However, with them wanting to go in now, it makes sense to charge down the right side. And it looks like 6 New York's going to be leading that on JB and second U.S. Cav.
Here comes the sun.
It's all right. So that's the starting wipe. But again, no flag down. All 4 flags kept back. And, you know, smart decision from CSA. Union pushing out on this side generally. But they have a lot going left, which I'm a little surprised by. HL and 6 Alabama heading this way. Maybe they're going to cut center to try to get the flags. Maybe do a little 2-pronged action here. But if they, I mean, maybe all these guys are under this flag. I doubt that. But if they're going to try to shoot down CSA from over here without a flag, you know, it's going to be very difficult to do that. Nice arty shot, too.
Shoot.
Oh my god, everybody.
Everybody's fucking.
So, 3:10 left. Union's going to try in this front, but yeah, Union spread out. Looks like one of those flags despawned there. They got a 5-minute despawn timer on that, or someone ran down and picked it up, which I find unlikely. Oh, yeah, it's definitely. Oh, my. I'm sorry, artillery. You had another nice shot.
Left-hand side, coming across the field. 3 targets. 3 targets, boys. Come on.
And so, again, Union's got infinite lives at this point, but the timer dropped. Man, artillery's just shredding these guys, along with the infantry. Meanwhile, you got a Union guy over here.
Excuse me.
Rambo.
There's a Rambo in the bushes.
Poor Jumbo. You got Union pushing in center side.
Allez, on soutient les alliés. Allez, gauche. Cassez, on change de gauche.
Union just trying to deal damage at this point. I don't know if they're going to hold. Nice friendly fire in the arty. I saw the 11 Mississippi pushing up, trying to cut off the rear side of this little charge, but I had a timer 3 some minutes feels like a lot, but I guess it's not. The final push timer, it's the amount of time, it drops to the amount of time it takes for an attacker to get from his main spawn to the point 2 times without bayonets and reloads. So if it dropped to 3:10, I guess it takes Union 1:35 to get from their main spawn to point, which I guess is just a little nice thing to know. 1 minute left. CSA's halfway through breaking. They've got plenty of tickets.
Right here, with me, boys, with me. Far right, go, go, go.
You got more Union just trickling in at this point. They tried to form up a little bit.
I'm stuck on a rock.
Oh no, decoys stuck on a rock. And I don't know what happened. Union just mass charging, trying to get something. If they get more bodies on point, when the clock hits 0, they'll force it in overtime. And they'll have to continually cap the point from that moment. Which maybe could happen here. Nope, you got more CSA shifting over. Union starting to take it. CSA, they still got a lot of guys sitting over there still kind of reacting from that charge here. Union has to keep their flags up to keep spawns in. It's the only thing that matters for the Union at this point. Similar with the CSA side. Like, that flag out there, I don't know why. Oh, that's 1 down. CSA, oh, they run more guys, and then that's probably going to be it. I guess Union didn't need to continually cap. I guess CSA had to take it back full. I know they've messed with these mechanics every once in a while, but yeah, honestly, Union made that. Union played pretty well for what this map is. So props to the Union side on that. The CSA, they didn't make many mistakes. They did exactly what they need to do for the most part, and yeah. I mean, sure, the counterattacks went for a while, but they got huge ticket leads out of that, so you can't necessarily blame them for wanting that. But, I mean, Union kept it really close. They made a lot of good decisions, and that was able to get CSA down. I find it fascinating that Union capping the point and that shootout didn't work. Maybe CSA had better shots, or CSA, I mean, a lot of CSA was in cover for the most part, but something's got to be figured out, or maybe something has to change with the map for Union to get a better shot at this map. I mean, all things considered, right? Balance is crazy. It's 14 right now, and considering CSA had, it's probably like a 20-man imbalance. I'm sorry for cutting that off there. I just had to look. 20-man infantry imbalance roughly. Look at the casualties. We'll see you all shortly for round 2. And here we are for our second round here. So that imbalance, as mentioned, 13th Georgia balanced back over to the CSA side. So appreciate the help with that. And speaking of that balance here, it's 1 in Union's favor. Union has 5 on artillery, though CSA does not have the option there. So right now it is a 6-man infantry imbalance in favor of the CSA side. Reno's fall, 10% ticket advantage to the CSA attacking side. Weapons for tonight. CSA attacking side, they've got the 18th Georgia with the option of the Enfield and the Springfield 55. And they also have the 2nd Mississippi with the option of the Springfield 42 and the Enfield. USA, on the other hand, their defense, they've got the 51st New York and the 51st Pennsylvania, both regiments, rather. They have the option of the Springfield 61. So, CSA, attack is pretty simple. You hit the flanks. You either go out far left and hit Union here and collapse in, or you push up the wood line, which CSA has pushed up here a little bit. You also have guys from the CSA in the center kind of shooting out, but CSA generally doesn't push out just because it's a wide open field. 1 Mississippi, LFL, 2nd U.S. CAF for CSA getting a little aggressive here. We'll note, point of contention, it says it's on the rock here. However, the road here is also on point. Another thing, no sprinting and no bayonets until the 30-minute mark. So we'll see how each side want to take this. This is generally in the past been a historically CSA biased map. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I haven't seen this map a whole lot as of late, saw it earlier this week, and CSA did pull off a pretty good win on this map. So would not be surprised if we see CSA pull this off again, but you never know, right? That's why you play the game, right? Which I will note that some maps in a lot of events aren't even played anymore. Some may know in this event the little thing called High Street, and we don't see that anymore in a lot of things. So this all being said, you got CSA pushing up Union defensive line. You got A and V holding down the far Union right. A little on the right, you got TKO. I see a couple HL tags in there as well. Meanwhile, more in the center, you got the 1st Kentucky. Furthest forward, you got HD 6 Alabama. And getting to our left side of the Union line, you got HL 6 New York, Midwest Brigade, Serpents Brigade, and Company. I'm watching a basketball game in the corner because my team's in the playoffs, and they just showed the McDonald's nether sauce on the scene. On the screen. I thought that'd be important to say. Anyways, CSA attack 11 Mississippi on the right with 2nd U.S. Cav. I thought there was a 3rd group. LFL, there they are, just a little further back. Going to the center side, you got 6 Arkansas, 13th Georgia, kind of taking the shootout in the center. Texas Guards with them as well. Falling a little back, you got Jenkins Brigade, and then hitting the far Union right, you got 20th Georgia, and then going in for a little attack, you got the 88th New York, getting up close here, and Union does not see him. Oh, they're charging! The bonking has begun.
Beautiful.
And it looks like they'll get that hold there, but, you know, they got a good amount of kills. And, again, right, you don't necessarily need to gain ground as an attacker as long as you're dealing enough of a ticket loss. That is all that matters in the end. TG pushing out onto the point rock. You'll normally see teams skirmish from out there. They won't really ever try to cap point from out there. And that's just because the stone wall is a lot more wider. Also, you don't have to be in an open field to cap the point, which both sides kind of appreciate here. Shootout's only gone for a couple minutes here, and we've noticed that the Union's up a little bit on tickets. So we'll see what happens. I mean, for all we know, CSA could keep up this pace. I mean, JB pushed up on that side as well. But, I mean, this shootout's working great for CSA. And it's a similar thing to last round. I mean, it's a rough situation for Union. They've got to change up what they're doing here a little bit. Because right now, it ain't working. And they actually... CSA is capping TG. It looks like 2 core guys here in the center backed off. Yeah, they're leaving point. And so, because of that, Texas Guards is on point. And, I mean, Union's not down a whole lot of tickets. They're down a little. But, I mean, regaining any amount of tickets for a defender would obviously be appreciated. I don't know how much time is going to be a factor on a map like this.
Holy shit.
The thing is, there's, like... Union overall does not have a terribly strong defensive position. I mean, they can fall back into this woods more and more, but CSA will just push up and they'll have to go in on CSA, and that's just kind of rough. And I mean, the corn you kind of can't really defend a lot. I mean, you can hold back and kind of turtle, but CSA can get up on you. And actually, Union can get pretty far. Why is this all in bounds? Okay. His Union artillery spawns here, and they've been rolling up the guns. But I don't know. I guess Union could turtle if they want, but CSA would just cap like they did and force Union out. I don't know why Union's not retaking this right now. They have to walk like 5 feet to the point, and they can retake it. It's not like in the previous round where when Union capped the point, CSA still held strong defensive position and was able to outshoot the Union. Union, as we've seen so far, I mean, that might change, but Union has not been able to out-ticket the CSA, which, again, the only metric that matters in this game is the tickets, for the most part. Probably about, I would say, 60-70% of the importance, or if you win his tickets. You could argue a lot more than that. And that obviously is going to depend a lot on the map.
Decoys left, decoys.
And CSA pushed up. 88th New York being the most aggressive CSA unit so far. 20th Georgia joining them. Going to get a little more reinforcements. And
It's out of bounds. It's out of bounds like that. So just be careful. It's out of bounds like that. Here they come.
Union wants to force them out. You can't let the opponent just sit in your flank like that. So you either got to pull out or charge them out.
You can't hit me.
Come on, then.
What's up, buddy? What's he doing? Alabama.
Hey, 6SC.
Alabama.
What you guys doing? Alabama.
And CSA is going to hold that really well. It looks like only A and V went in, perhaps. I mean, I see a fair amount of TKOs, but they could be respawns. But CSA held that well. Granted, they've got a fair amount of more guys here, and they've got them into pincer. And, I mean, CSA is already up a fourth of stage. Union actually on the point now, moving in for a retake here. 6 Alabama, HD, 1st Kentucky. They ripped that off. He got domed. But they pushed back up.
I mean, if TKO can stay here with A and B, we can still cap this point from here.
Oh yeah, we're taking it back. Good shit. We're taking it back. Yep.
So they'll take that back relatively easily. Maybe they didn't see how many CSA were on there, which is maybe their concern with it. Looks like most of them are actually surprisingly on the flank here. Union looks like they maybe tried to charge out one of the CSA forces, which it does force a flag out, which is maybe why they pushed off on that. They saw the CSA in the corn, majority of these guys in the corn, and they're like, their flag's not there, their flag's over there, let's try to charge it out and force them out. And this might not work for the Union side.
Flags down, flags down.
And so they will get a Union flag down. Nice playing there from 88th, 20th Georgia, and JB. Nice little plays there. They're going to get that flag in the end. Union took a risk there, but honestly, we saw the CSA was up by a good amount of tickets. And Union there would regain a lot of tickets. So they're like, well, if we charge and lose, we'll regain these tickets in a second anyways when we retake the point. So not a terrible idea. I mean, it sucks they lost their flag, which is probably the worst thing out of all that, and they lost the flank, which is also not a great thing. But, I mean, Union was kind of slowly getting beat out there anyways. So, nice plays from them. So both sides about to drop into engaged. TG still on point, which I don't get why they're on point with 13th Georgia here. I mean, this is one of those maps. This is not like the previous map where the defenders have a great defensive spot. So I don't understand CSA trying to hold on the point here, which it looks like points decapping. So maybe that's... I swear that rock's on point, unless it wasn't them who capped it. Maybe Union has guys on it. I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, it'd be nice if there was a flick where I could see who's on point, or just show like a boundary in a spectator mode. It'd be very helpful for analytical breakdown per se. So, but you know, you can't complain with what you got. So it's worked out well so far. But actually, yeah, no, it looks like I think TG's on point, but I guess Union is on point. I don't know if it's the first. I don't think it's the first Kentucky guys, but I don't think the point extends in the corn either. So who knows? Maybe just, I don't know. So you gotta spawn in the game and line out the point exactly. It used to be, so when you play the game normally, I don't know if I can show it. Neither of our people's here on point. And speaking of that, A and V is actually pushed up here where Killer's at right now, and they have retrieved their flag, and they're popping shots back into where CSA's at over here. But if you notice here, On the bottom right, there's a bunch of information that pops up. If you run onto the point now, depending on if you're attacking or defending, it'll pop up capturing or defending on it. And it used to be where that wouldn't show up, and you had to kind of guess if you were on point or not, or just look and be like, yeah, my team's capturing point, so I'm probably on point. At least you'd have to guess. And I remember in the IVB server, I think the channel still exists, but why is Union charging this? HD and A and V charging TG out. Maybe they didn't like him there, thought they were getting a lot of shots on them, but I don't know if we've forgotten or, but generally it just makes, I don't know. It just seems a lot better to fight over the point at the stone wall if you're a defender trying to charge across an open field to take this rocks back, which you think is on point. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, on the IVB server, I'm pretty sure the channel still exists, but it has all the maps, or it has a good chunk of maps, and it has like drawn out lines on the map for where capping is. Like people would walk the boundaries and try to figure out where it all is, which just shows you how much dedication some people have to this game and figuring out all the little things about it. So
Well, that's why the tempo.
They will push out. Maybe they wanted to hold that ground too, and they are holding it. I mean, if I'm Union, I don't know if you could play this map for time per se. So CSA early capping might not be the worst thing in the world. I mean, again, it all depends. This match, I think, is going to end without time really having to be a worry, at least so far. It's kind of close, especially with Union regaining a bunch of tickets on that first counterattack.
Keep shooting and make sure, TK, make sure you're far left of the snake fence. Oh,
Hello, Union. This is going to be a good charge. And that's going to be a good wipe there from 6 Alabama. I assume HD's in there, so they need to shoot that flag down and that guy down. So good wipe from them there, and he pushed right back up to take it. So yeah, I guess not a bad push out there in the end from those guys onto the point. But again, it can just be concerning to push out, charge out like that in an open field, you know. You don't want to put yourself in the worst place. Meanwhile, bayonets and sprinting is now allowed, so CSA playing aggressive. 11 Mississippi going in right away on Midwest Brigade and the 6 New York. The Union will hold that. Tickets still fairly even.
Don't worry, I'm still alive. That's what's simple. Hey, Jin. Hey, Jin.
Oblique right, rebel flag, oblique
So that's good for Union. At least they held the ground. I mean, as long as Union can keep things even. Here comes some more CSA. Which, are they charging or are they shooting? I heard fire at them and then I heard C charging. And it looks like they're going to go in.
Yes, Gene. Shit,
Let's go, lads.
Please protect me.
George Bennett!
I took it. Stay behind me.
Fuck you! Really injured me.
It wasn't a crazy charge by any means. But CSA, it looks like they were just trying to get up a little closer and engage. You also got 6 Arkansas pushing up, trying to use these logs as cover, hit the artillery, and also get some kills here, which First Kentucky's trying to charge them out. And CSA caps again. Maybe CSA is a little worried about their time. I mean, based on the way TG's moving, this definitely seems like it's a part of their plan. Maybe they're worried about time because you don't see as much aggression in EU events versus NA events. There's a lot more sit back and shooting, and if you want to give yourself more time to sit and shoot, capping the point's not a bad idea. But this just, it feels like one of those maps that, as an attacker, you can get a good amount of advantage in terms of a ticket lead on it. It's not like it's a super close thing, so I don't necessarily think capping on this map is the best idea.
Behind the rocks, their bucket ball's going to be less effective.
So with this all being said, you got more charging out in the center. TG backs off almost immediately. Union trying to keep that clock moving, so I think that's why they're trying to throw them off it. It makes sense, but...
Alright, friendly's on the rocks now, friendly's on the rocks.
Yeah, right oblique in the woods.
I mean, those guys know they can cap from the stone wall, so they must not want those guys there if they're charging them out like that. CSA shifting out. Union's got a couple guys a little far forward here.
Shoot, get your shot and sprint back. Get your shot off and sprint back.
Good call from decoys there. You know, it's always, when you push up this far close to the enemy, especially when you're a defender, I mean, it's a risky idea. As long as you do what TKO did here, you know, if you see the enemy coming in and you take a shot and leave, you know, they played that perfectly, and that can be a good thing. But you'll sometimes see groups just sit there and just get charged down. It's like, well, defenders just lost tickets they kind of can't afford. Meanwhile, 2 Corps and 6 Alabama, they're holding the center here. CSA is actually sending a fair amount of guys to this Union right side here. And so Union retakes. I don't know if they regained a whole lot of tickets there, but nonetheless, we're back even. And all things considered, Union's kept the match close, but it's partly due to the counterattacks, especially that first one. Because the later we get into the match and each sides are even on tickets, you're going to give the Union more hope on a map they normally don't have. I mean, they have some hope, but not a huge amount per se. At least if I were playing, that's how I would really take it. And actually, it might look like Union's slightly ahead on tickets right now.
I think TK is
So, CSA starting to put pressure on this Union right side again. You got 88th New York kind of holding that far. CSA left, more towards the center here, 20th Georgia. Jenkins Brigade, looks like Texas Guards has joined in on the fun on this side.
Hold fire, hold fire. We are still in the battle line at the double quick forward. Mark.
Double click forward in the battle line.
On the major columns.
On the main.
Sprint.
And Union has fallen back here.
I feel like we're about to get
Nash.
Spread.
And 80th New York, maybe seeing that, or they both wanted to move up at the same time, but they're getting in the face of Union again. 88th New York just going straight for it. And Union slowly getting pushed back here. Surprised 88th New York's the only one up here. Here come a couple more CSA.
Charge the fence.
And both sides about to hit taking losses in a second. And unlike the previous time, Union is at least holding the ground a little better. Union drops into taking losses first. Meanwhile, this front looks like CSA is going in again. LFL this time. I see some of the Mississippi as well.
SB countercharge, please.
And it looks like Union's probably going to hold the line. No, his
We can't lose those rocks, boys! God, man! I hate rebels, and rebels hate you.
More CSA reinforcements, though, pour up.
I hate rebels.
I got something to say. I have something to say to you.
And 2nd U.S. Cav, 11 Mississippi showing up, and it looks like that's going to throw the Union off here. So, good little charge there from CSA. They also start to get that ticket lead. However, on the other side of things, Union holds pretty strong. And, I mean, it looks like 6 Alabama and HD over here. 2 Corps as well over here. And Union strongly holds that side, but the Union left kind of suffered a little bit for it, so... And also, again, you got CSA on point, which I don't like CSA capping here. You're up by 1/4 of a stage. It's getting to that point where Union's almost at breaking. You wanna kind of have a ticket lead going into the end of the game. You don't want things getting even towards the end, because if things are even and you get the final push last stand and you make a mistake as an attacker, defenders could easily win. So I don't understand why they're capping. You have a lot of time left on the clock. I mean, maybe this is a part of their plan. I don't know. And in the end, right, as long as they get the win, that's the only thing that matters. However, you know, it's just you want to give yourself the best chance to win. And I don't think them capping here is the best chance. Like, if Union turtles for a couple minutes, sure, cap the point. But Union has not turtled at all yet. But they will cap again. What, 3? It's like Gene's is forming the Union right about what happened on the left, but a cap is good for Union here, you know? They at least regained some of those tickets.
Like a dog. Shift raid.
Yeah, killer. Left side collapse, they said.
Is that them?
So we'll see what Union does. Union rushing. 6 Alabama HD rushing out to retake the point again. And Union actually charging in on this left side. HL leading it. It's a little bit of a snake going over here.
What are you guys doing?
Honestly, Union tickets don't matter so much anymore, because they're going to go up to the percentage of tickets that CSA's after. Here comes Union.
Stab and go, boys! No stab and go. You're not getting through here.
Yes, I am.
Chaos happening in the woods. Union looks to win this. You got some 2nd U.S. Cav, though. They get a Union flag down, I assume. It's Union. It looks like it. And Union barely holds that. I mean, they got some guys in the center as well, as Union reinforcements has shifted this way. You got a couple Union guys still holding. But, I mean, Union's starting to take back. And even though CSA's got a ticket lead out of all of this, Union is going to gain about 1/4 of a stage back.
Okay, sounds like
Someone pick up this flag. Point 51st service here.
So, Union gains back up, and I don't think CSA should early cap again. You don't want to give Union these tickets back. Because, I mean, it's been like half to 2/3 of a morale stage in terms of tickets that Union has regained from these early caps. So it's a little confusing from the CSA side. Who has a flag down here? Looks like maybe Union or Texas Guards might have charged out the Union here, who maybe some of them tried to back off, but Texas Guards barely wins that and gets a Union flag down, so that looks good. So, I mean, again, CSA still has a good shot of winning. I just don't think they should early cap again.
Let's go back.
Quickly across the front of the cannon.
Wait,
I don't care. At least I'm not sure cover.
Hey, purple cap.
Fire going.
NYV.
And they're capping again.
Northeast, same spot as before. Pick your targets.
I don't know if I've seen an attacking team cap this many times in a match in a very long time. TG's back out there again. Huh.
pote Fred qui arrive.
We got a nice shot on that flag. But, yeah, Union shifting back to their defense on the right side after helping the left. A and V and looks like TKO heading back over this way. And is CSA going to cap for a fourth time? Hey, this might be the most amount of counterattacks I've seen in a long time. At least since a Hills match.
You guys too, I've seen it.
And it looks like we have some shadows in the woods moving. CSA moving up the charge here. Moving out of bounds to cut in on the flank of Union.
Get into him, NYV.
Ah oui, il s'est fait fusiller lui.
And it looks like Union's going to be able to hold this in the end, although you got some CSA respawn, 2nd U.S. Cav now showing up as well. And CSA has a slight ticket lead, about to drop Union to breaking, and CSA overwhelming. They get a Union flag down. And now they're going to keep pushing the point. Are they going to cap it before Union hits breaking? You mean you got... Ow. I'm talking about good timing. And with that being said, that should be our round. So, I mean, good win from CSA there. You know, I might not appreciate the whole capping point game per se, but in the end, it got the job done, and that is all that matters in the end. So, congrats to CSA on the 2-0 today. Well played on their part. I mean, this is just a rough map for Union. I don't know if Union necessarily need to charge out into the center of the open field, but they didn't pay too much in terms of tickets for that. So, I mean, hey, it's a rough map. CSA played it well. You need CSA to make mistakes, and I think that's kind of what we see from a lot of these maps is that the attackers have to make mistakes for the defenders to win. And is that a good thing? I don't know. I lean towards no. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to support the channel more. Go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord and other stuff in the description as well. I appreciate you all. We will see you all in the next one. Couldn't do this without y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your night.